For Oom Piet by Finuala Downing. And this is a somewhat autobiographical poem. She grew up without a dad present. So we do sort of feel that this person who feels like somebody that actually existed in her life. So we feel that Finuala Downing Oom Piet takes the role of a substitute father in her life. And the main message of the poem is the speaker showing gratitude and appreciation for her relationship with a man named Oom Piet. He's been fundamental in her healing, right? She's obviously come through some really, really tough time and is new to this neighborhood. It feels like a rural community when they're talking about the ducks crossing the road and that. And there's a theme of the healing power that community relationships and friendships have if we allow people in instead of building walls. And there's also an idea that support and help is sometimes right in front of you. And we don't know why things have gone out. She doesn't delve into the sturm and drang of why she's in this sad, unhappy time. Husband could have left her. Husband could have died. Husband could be there and abusive, or it does feel like she and her little daughter are separate though and alone. And then this kindness, and the kindness that he's showing is not major things. It's by simple presence and being there and kindness. Okay, let's read through it. When I was least happy in life, my daughter led me across the road to a neighbor whom I did not know, with the purpose of a toddler who does not see gates and fences, but the ducks and puppies on the other side. You spoke to me in the same low, murmuring tones you used for lame horses and bilious dogs. Crops, flowers, and poultry were our theme. You made me tea and wiped the counter. You said, "Foei, toch," and, "Oh, I don't hope so." You guessed. You told me I was beautiful in the courtly way of an old man. One day when it rained, you phoned from your side and said, "I'm sending some ducks for Beatrix." You always called her Beatrix. Out the window we saw them, waddling over in the way of ducks when directed by Oom Piet. You moved, and I moved. But one thing stays. The sense of a rescue, somehow being saved. It's a beautiful tribute poem to somebody to whom she's extremely grateful. And in retrospect, even more so, even more so. So let's dig into it. That first line, when I was least happy in life, that least happy, yeah, I suppose it could be seen as a bit of a euphemism, but it tells us something about the speaker's attitude. It's not focusing on unhappy or depressed or going through the worst. There's a sense of this is somebody who had been happy and will be happy again, right? But obviously, this is a time of her life where she'd gone through the most. My daughter led me across the road. And look at that inversion in relationship status there. You would think that she would lead her daughter, but her daughter takes the lead in that moment. And what that highlights is, firstly, how vulnerable and out of control the mother's feeling at that point, but also the innocent confidence of a kid, of a child who hasn't learned societal norms and conventions. And you know what kids are like. They go to a playground and then they go up and, "Hello, do you want to play?" And then you become teenagers and it becomes awfully awkward. And then adults, like, you know that they're not going to be that nice to play with anyway. But there's that lovely, lovely openness about children. And to a neighbor whom I did not know at that point, with the purpose of a toddler who does not see gates and fences, but the ducks and puppies on the other side. So the focus is I want to get to the ducks and puppies. And also, metaphorically, it's like the toddler does not see these boundaries that we put up, only the lovely things, the loveliness that you can get by going into someone else's space, meeting them, connecting. You spoke to me in the same low, murmuring tones. Look at the assonance. So you used for lame horses and bilious dogs. And so we get the sense of a person who is soothing and who understands sick animals and wounded creatures and how to soothe them with their voice. So she's being likened to a wounded animal at that point. Crops, flowers, and poultry were our theme. That's what they spoke about. They're not talking about feelings, relationships, personal history. They're talking about the crops and the flowers and chicken and ducks. So it's not about what you talk about in connection and friendship with somebody else. It's the fact that you are there in connection with them. And it doesn't have to be the subject matter and the content of the conversation that is soothing and healing, but the companionship and the soothing tone of the voice. Look at the colon, drawing our attention to the fact that you made me tea and wiped the counter. And we sort of feel that, yeah, maybe it was even at her house, right? And there, again, there's an inversion of roles, because particularly with a younger woman and an old man, you would think that she'd be the one making the tea, particularly if he is a traditional old man, you know, it's like the woman's role to make the tea. But the point is, he makes her tea, comforting, without asking why, but just knowing that she needs that. You said, fooi toch. Fooi toch is like, oh, shame. And I don't hope so. Ek hoop nie so nie. You guessed. So he guessed what had happened to her. You told me I was beautiful. And there seems to be a suggestion there that what was guessed was that her husband had run off with someone else. That would account for her being the least happy that she was in life. And the fact that it's significant that he told her she was beautiful, because a woman with a little child and the husband heads off with somebody else's self-esteem is going to be, you know, nobody's body pops back like it was after having a kid and the sleepless nights and everything else. So yeah, that is the sense that I get from this. And then she clarifies. He didn't say I was beautiful in order to get into my pants or to flirt or for me to like him more, but in the courtly way of an old man. So in the courtly means kind of old-fashioned, mannered way of an old man, not like I'm trying to chaff you and be lecherous. She makes it very, very clear that his motivation in being kind to her wasn't anything inappropriate, sexual, pervy. He's just a kind man. And then she has this specific anecdote, and a delightful one it is at that. One day when it rained, you phoned from your side and said, from your side of the road, right? And said, I'm sending some ducks for Beatrix. Just a short phrase, right? You always called her Beatrix. We don't know what the little girl's name was. Maybe they called her B, but he used her full name. Out of the window, we saw them waddling over in the way of ducks when directed by Oom Piet. And we get a beautiful sense of, firstly, this lovely thing. It's raining. She's got a toddler and it's raining. And he's going, oh my gosh, your child must have cabin fever. She's probably driving you mad. How can I help? She loves ducks. Send them over. I don't know whether she was going to play with them in the yard or just enjoy seeing them coming, but the point is he sent the ducks over, and by golly, the ducks came, because animals will listen when they're directed by Oom Piet. And then there's the couplet at the end, the only part that has a bit of a loose rhyme, stays and saved. You moved and I moved, as people do in life, but one thing stays, and it stays for her, right? The sense of a rescue, somehow being saved. So it's not a tangible thing. She feels, sure, he saved me. He saved me with his kindness to my daughter and to me at that dreadful time in my life. There was this kind, safe person. And she's written this very, very honoring poem of gratitude for him. Possibly, I don't know. I mean, you moved, I moved. She might not know whether he lived or died, or whether she was remembering it, or if it's elegiacal after he's died. Doesn't matter. She is thinking back with enormous gratitude, and with hindsight realizing, oh, he saved me at my lowest. Questions, comments, anything I missed out? Yeah?
There was just one thing that we discussed about their conversation that they were talking about. So while it seems very like surface level small talk, like crops, flowers, poultry. They're all forms of like agriculture, which is like growing and like healing and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose, yes, crops, flowers, poultry. So it's also kind of regenerating the cycle of life. Yeah, for sure. Good point. Good point. Those are things that are showing that, but they all need nurturing as well. So if you nurture your crops, they will grow, and the crops will die out and the flowers will drop off, but they will grow again. Yeah, important point. Thank you. Thank you, Shanna. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, how does the title of the poem indicate the speaker's intention? Group one, who's got an answer?
I do. Okay.
Yeah.
So the title For Oom Piet indicates that it is being addressed to Oom Piet. The title is a tribute to him and thanks for the time he helped her overcome the hard time she was experiencing.
Good, 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 good. I would also mention the Oom part of it, because to call somebody uncle who's not your uncle, it's both a sign of respect in Afrikaans culture as well as an affectionate term. And she's not calling him Oom Piet or Mr. van der Merwe. Right, okay, good. You would have got your 2 marks. So. 2, comment on the effectiveness of the juxtaposition of the mother and toddler's outlook in lines 4 to 7. Group 2, who's your spokesperson?
I am, ma'am.
Yeah.
We said that the roles of the mother and toddler were reversed to emphasize the vulnerability of the mother at that time, and how the toddler sees the ducks and puppies on the other side but does not see the fences, symbolized how the toddler was not deterred by the barriers that people place around themselves, but saw the potential for human connection. The juxtaposition was effective at emphasizing the idea that breaking barriers and forming human connection, it emphasizes that in order to form human connection, we need to break down our personal barriers.
Lovely, 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 lovely. So with this poem, have a look at also the gates and fences being metaphors for negativity, obstacles, hardships, barriers. Whereas a child has this carefree, playful, whimsical outlook, adventurous, playful. And what this does show, this juxtaposition shows us the harmful effects of being guarded, how adults are wary and closed off, whereas children see life as fun and adventurous, and how that fun and adventurous, innocent spirit inevitably leads to contact and healing. Good, good, good. Lovely. But your answer, beautiful. 3, quote 2 examples of inversion of roles in the poem and explain how they illustrate how the journey to healing takes place. Who was group 3? Who's going to speak?
When the speaker says that my daughter led me, she is showing an inversion of her role as a mother with her child, as it is expected that she is leading her child, but instead her child is leading her. Furthermore, she shows inversions of roles when she says that you made me tea and wiped the counter, as this shows an inversion of role as Oom Piet is doing the typically womanly actions. This inversion of roles shows that healing comes from both unexpected places, and that by allowing others to help you and finding comfort in community, that is how healing takes place.
Ah, rocking. Are you all tonight? Yes, see, I flippin' love it. You're answering like pros. Please click subscribe. It's free. And for more content in this section, click on the playlist.